What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for a Clash of Champions review. Clash of Champions getting off the air, and one of the big positives coming out of Clash of Champions, in my opinion, just to start off, the show ended at 10:30. There's been a big complaint on WWE pay-per-views, especially like a WrestleMania, SummerSlam, even the Royal Rumble, going way too long. This show went 4.5 hours instead of the 3.5 hours. I believe, yeah, 3.5 hours instead of 4, because they start at 6. They have 7, 8. Okay, so it was like 3.5 hours, maybe whatever, with the pre-show. The great thing is that this did not go to 11. When you look at the pay-per-view card and you see 11 matches, you're like, oh god, it's championship matches except for one. You think that's going to take this pay-per-view forever to get over with, and no, it didn't. Outside of one championship match, let me see here. I do have the times here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like 6 matches, like 4 matches went less than 10 minutes, and only 2 matches went 15 plus, and another match which ended, I think, at the 10-minute mark, had a big brawl to do the other 10 minutes or so. So the pacing of the show was good. Didn't take long, and matches just seemed to be over. I do have a couple gripes on one match or two, and we had a return. We had the Fiend make his presence known, and Braun Strowman just went through the best match he has ever had, ever. No shenanigans, no silliness, no stipulations. The Universal Championship match, which was the main event, there was rumors that it was going to be Rowan versus Roman on a pay-per-view called Clash of Champions, which thankfully it did not, even though the return at the end, which we'll talk about later, was good. It was an awesome moment for a moment, but we'll have to be caution to we'll have to put caution to it, because for all we know, that was a great moment, and then they go nowhere with it. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But this show, if I was doing a star rating for this show, I would have to give it maybe a 3.5 to 4, maybe. If I was doing letter grade, I would have to say a C+ at the best. The show started ourselves off with the Cruiserweight Championship match as Humberto Carrillo and Lince Dorado were in a triple threat match with the Cruiserweight Champion Drew Gulak. This match went about 10 minutes and 5 seconds. This match was good. Lince Dorado, and people are wondering, why was Lince Dorado in this match? Why was he thrown in here at the last minute? Well, a couple weeks ago, Kalisto, I believe it was, put a tweet out that he did the tweet and delete, but he tweeted out that he has like 10 months left on his contract, and then I believe it was Grand Metalik who said he did too, pretty much. And of course, Braun Strowman retweeted him, or like quote tweeted him, and said adios. So this is WWE's way of getting him to, like, giving these guys something. I mean, you had Grand Metalik versus Rey Mysterio on Monday Night Raw, and now you have Lince Dorado in a match that really he didn't need to be in. Now, I'm not saying the match was bad or anything. The match was pretty good. Humberto Carrillo looks like a guy who could be maybe in line later on. I will have to say, Naito McGuinness is no longer part of 205 Live's commentary. He's going to be doing NXT UK and NXT commentary as of now. Now, they brought out Brennan Williams, who was a flop in the NFL. He did get drafted by the Texans in 2013, played like one season, got to 2 different practice squads after that season, if anything, and was cut. He is in WWE now. He is Dio Madden now, with an I, not an E. And I'm going to say that he did a pretty good job on commentary with the likes of Aiden English and Vic Joseph. If 205 Live was to be brought down to Full Sail and was a 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock hour on the WWE Network live every single week, and it was him, Joseph, and Aiden English doing commentary at Full Sail every week for these guys, that is fine, because Dio, someone wrote Dino, but no, it's Dio Maddins, Diomaddin. He did a hell of a job, and I think he's going to be a great commentator if they keep him in that role. Maybe he can't. Maybe he wanted to be a wrestler. Maybe he couldn't cut it as a wrestler. But he does. He did well. And Drew Gulak, Lince Dorado, and Humberto Carrillo gave you a good match for the opening of this show. Again, it went about 10 minutes. Carrillo got a couple drop kicks in. We got a "This is awesome" chant. Carrillo brings Dorado in for a missile drop kick. Gulak breaks up the pin for a 2. Carrillo's in the corner and sets up for his Arabian. I think what they call it. What do they call it? The match comes to an end with an Aztec press, which is something I don't watch 205 Live, so I've never seen him do. Carrillo's never done it in NXT, and if he did, it was in a match a long time ago. But he was like laying off of, like he was like laying back, bounced, and it was just, I'd never seen the Aztec press before. Interesting looking maneuver. He hits it on Lince Dorado, but he nails Lince Dorado straight square in the head. I don't know if he missed, but Lince Dorado gets hit with the Aztec press. Gulak comes in, sends Carrillo into the ring post. Gulak rolls up Dorado for the 1, 2, 3, and Drew Gulak is your winner. If you did check out my predictions on Friday, you have known that I did pick Drew Gulak, so this one was a kind of obvious one for me. So Drew Gulak is your winner. Moving over to the next match, AJ Styles. This was not the opening of the show, unfortunately. This match was on the kickoff show. And I'm quite honestly surprised that they put this on the kickoff show. This match was fast-paced. This was, of course, Drew Gulak was in... not Drew Gulak, but I'm sorry. Cedric Alexander was in his hometown. He is from Charlotte. If anybody sees his ring attire, you always see a C with an A in the middle for Cedric Alexander. That is in the style, if you are a basketball fan, of the Charlotte Hornets secondary logo, where they have the C, the same exact C with the spikes coming off the top of it, or the slashes coming off the top of it, with an H in the middle for Charlotte Hornets. He just took it and adopted it with an A. So that is where that comes from. He is also repping the purple and teal for the Charlotte Hornets tonight, so that was great to see for him. But again, Cedric Alexander immediately, they did this twice tonight. The quick shot try pin for a win. They did it in this match, and they did it in the Bayley Charlotte Flair match. We'll get to that one later. But immediately, as soon as the bell rings, which first off, AJ did walk to the ring, and he sent Gallows and Anderson to the back. It's like, no, I got this guy. I can take care of him. He's nothing. This match lasted about 5 minutes. Immediately, as soon as the bell rings, we get a Michinoku driver for a 2 count by Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander just all over AJ Styles at the beginning of this match. But Cedric eventually gets on the goes up for a springboard, but AJ pushes him off the top rope and just down to the apron, and then it was all AJ from there. AJ Styles ends up hitting the phenomenal. He does drop him, brings him to the outside, hits a Styles Clash on the outside, throws him back into the ring. 1, 2, picks his head up. It's like, no, we ain't done yet. This guy came out fast and loose. I'm going to punish him even more. AJ goes back up and waits for Cedric Alexander to get up. He hits the phenomenal forearm, but Cedric Alexander doesn't stay down all the way. He does get up. He's breathing, and he's like, oh, shit, that fucking hurt. AJ pulls him up, hits the Styles Clash right in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles retains the United States Championship. Again, I was a little disappointed that this match happened on the pre-show. It only lasted 5 minutes, but I can understand why they put it on the pre-show, so I guess I'm not too mad about it. But I would have loved to see these guys, and hopefully this is not the end. I mean, yes, AJ Styles won this match clean, but this should definitely not be the end. After the match, AJ Styles takes his title as the music hits. He goes right to work on Cedric and starts beating him down some more, calls his boys, the OC, down some more. They come out and they triple team him. The OC stand tall and pose over Cedric with the 2 sweet. Fans chant, some fans boo AJ. His music starts back up as the OC heads up the ramp. That was the second match, and I understand why they went for the 2-minute drill, or the 5-minute drill. It would have been nice to see it go a little bit longer, but I hope this is going to lead to Cedric Alexander's push. How do they get Cedric Alexander back in the title picture? If they wanted to build interest for these guys to give you another match, they sure as hell gave you a lot of interest to get this match again. Because these guys for 5 minutes, they gave you a hell of a match. So Cedric Alexander Slow push is continuing. He might have lost, but he looked good in the beginning of this match. Yes, he got beat down afterwards, but that's just AJ Styles and the OC doing what they can to make that statement that AJ Styles is not fucking around, and he's going to make Cedric's life a living hell if he has to. Will it be at Hell in a Cell? Will it be at Survivor Series? Will it be at the final pay-per-view of the year, which I think is TLC? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. I don't want to see these guys in a tag team match. I don't want to see the Viking Raiders and Cedric Alexander versus the OC to build to another match between these two. Give these guys the proper build to get to a match at Hell in a Cell that's actually going to be on the main card. The reason I feel that this was on the pre-show is because it was booked 5 days or 6 days, because it came out on Tuesday, I believe, 5 days before Clash of Champions, so it didn't really deserve to be on the main card because it was just booked last minute. We started the show off with the match I figured it was going to be Rudolph of Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. This match was about 10 minutes. This match was okay. It was an alright tag team match. Strowman, of course, Seth Rollins took the heat for the match. Strowman came back in. Eventually, Seth tagged back in. And Strowman comes in at the end of the match, runs Roode over, but knocks Roode into Seth Rollins, who is the legal man. Now, Seth Rollins looked like he was going to have this one won, but of course, Robert Roode gets run over. Rollins ends up getting hit with a glorious DDT as Braun Strowman is sent down over the outside. 1, 2, 3, and Rudolph are your new tag team champions. Let me do that again. Coming up next, we had the Raw Tag Team Champions, which is how we started the show. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. This match went about 10 minutes. You had Braun Strowman starting off the match. He was beating up, I believe it was Robert Roode. He just beat him up for a bit. Which, by the way, here's another thing. The entire night, we usually only see this for Raw, for like world title matches and maybe the women's championship, where they do introducing first, and they do the championship, and like they have to wait for them to get to the ring, and then they announce both of them, or like the teams or whatever. Now, I figured that was going to drag this show along, but it really didn't. We still ended at 10:30, which was absolutely awesome. So Strowman starts off with Roode, beats him around for a little bit. Eventually, of course, Seth Rollins gets in. He takes the heat for the match, as he should, being the little guy. Strowman gets back in. Strowman takes Seth Rollins towards the end of the match, ends up hitting Roode into Seth Rollins. Strowman is sent to the outside. Glorious DDT. 1, 2, 3. Your Raw Tag Team Champions are Rudolph. I knew, you knew, everyone knew that these guys were going to win the tag team titles. There was no reason for Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman to continue to be tag team champions. Nobody turned heel, which was the smart move. And Strowman, the only thing that you saw was after this match was over, that Strowman was disappointed. He walked out of the ring shaking his head like, I can't believe this match is over. Can't believe I lost my titles. Clay Caruso stops Strowman backstage, and he blames the loss on Seth Rollins and says it'll be just like Rollins is going to lose his other title tonight. Rollins is on a losing streak, and he will make sure it stays that way when Rollins gets these hands. Well, Strowman, you lost the match too, so you're technically on a losing streak as well, if you think about it. Next match on the card was Bayley versus Charlotte Flair, and everybody, if you go watch my predictions, on this show. I picked Bayley to win this. Why did I pick Bayley to win this match? It was simple. It's in Charlotte's hometown. I don't care if you're a heel. I don't care if you're a babyface. WWE does not usually let somebody win in their hometown unless it's a feel-good moment. Like Cedric Alexander, if that match would have been built right and was on the card and it was like a 20-minute match, him beating AJ in his hometown would have been a feel-good moment. But This match lasted 3.5 minutes. Lasted about, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. My biggest disappointment about this match is the length. This match should have went a little bit longer. Yes, Bayley won this match by cheating. What basically happened towards the end of the match, Charlotte Flair was just dominating Bayley left and right. She started the match. As I mentioned earlier, we had ourselves a quick shot, trying to get a pin, 1-2, kick out. That's exactly what happened. Flair levels Bayley with a running big boot, gets a 2 count, and then she is dominating Bayley the entire match. Now, we get to the end of this match. Flair is just kicking shit out of Bayley in the middle of in the corner. Referee is pulling her off. Referee pulls her back from Bayley. While this is happening from the back of the referee, Bayley, unbeknownst to a lot of people, if you didn't notice it, even the commentators, she rips and takes the bottom turnbuckle off of the turnbuckle pad off the turnbuckle, and Charlotte Flair spins around the referee. Bayley grabs her, throws her headfirst into the exposed turnbuckle. 1, 2, 3, and Bayley grabs her title and runs out of there faster than Earl Hebner did during the Montreal Screwjob. That is exactly what happened, and I'm like, I love it. Maybe, just maybe, they're slowly but surely bringing this down to Bayley as a heel, but they're slowly turning her from, well, she's a heel, a delusional heel, to she's just a straight up heel. Because she turned on Becky Lynch on Monday Night Raw 2 weeks ago, and she came out on Tuesday like nothing happened, and tonight she cheated. She cheated in about a 4-minute match, which again, I wish it would have went a little bit longer. They should have had, yes, they had Charlotte Flair dominate the entire match. She dominated the entire match until she was pulled away from by the referee, faced into the steel, 1, 2, 3. They could have got to that spot had it been Bayley, and it had been a good back and forth match. Bayley trying to win this match, can't seem to get the win whatsoever, and then she just goes, you know what, screw it, and does that behind the referee's back. It just felt like this match should have went a little bit longer, but if they wanted to do that, this is definitely not over. She won by cheating. I fully expect them to have a rematch at Hell in a Cell, which is going to be the week before the 20th anniversary. And this is what's going to be terrible about the 20th anniversary happening on SmackDown on October 4th. That's the go-home show for SmackDown, the Hell in a Cell. That is the go-home show. The Hell in a Cell will be on October 6th this year. And they're going to have legends and celebrities and whatever celebrating 20 years of SmackDown. And SmackDown, it's like, yeah, we're going to have Bayley, and we're going to have Bayley versus Charlotte Flair again probably at Hell in a Cell, if not before that. Yes, Charlotte Flair did not win this match, and she shouldn't have won this match. But I seriously don't expect her. I don't expect Bayley to keep that title much longer. But her winning this match was the right call. She gets out of there. She's out of here. I don't think her music even got to play before she was halfway up the ramp. Flair was disappointed. She heads to the back. Fans are still surprised at the quick match and finish. I was surprised about the quick match. The finish kind of caught me off guard, but I think it was a good call. Bayley is slowly turning into that dastardly heel that she should be, and I will talk about the draft at a different time. But Bayley keeping the championship is the smart move because of what I think they're going to do with Charlotte Flair. The 4 horsewomen are going to be jumbled and shuffled up. I don't think Charlotte Flair is going to be on SmackDown much longer. And which one of the other 2 are going to join Bayley on SmackDown? It's not going to be Sasha Banks. But after tonight, I still think they're going to do something at Hell in a Cell between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. But we'll have to wait until then. Then we had the Revival versus the New Day. This one I got completely wrong. I thought New Day was going to retain 110%. This was a good match. I think this is one of Revival's best matches they've had in a while because they've been going through. They've been given trash pretty much. And the New Day, when they're not being goofy, they're not throwing the pancakes, they're not doing stupid shit, They are a really good tag team. Xavier Woods, this is his first match back since the whole kayfabe knee injury. But Xavier Woods, and this was really surprising too, because usually in a tag team match where you have the muscle, which is Big E, and you have a smaller guy, which was Xavier Woods. The smaller guy usually takes the heat, so the muscle can come in, or the bigger guy can come in and get the big comeback and, set up the big win. I think the writing on the wall for this match, that the Revival was winning this match, should have come with who was taking the heat, and that was Big E. Big E took the heat for the majority of this match. He took the beating. He took the unfair offense from the Revival for the majority of this match. Now, Big E tried to do a spear going through the ropes to, I believe it was Scott Dawson, right? Hold on. What's spear, but let's see. Dash was on the outside of on the apron. Big E goes to nail a spear, but he ends up on the floor and lands on his own because Dash moved out of the way. They end up hitting a shatter machine to Big E on the outside, and he is done for the match. He was done, just completely done. He was not done. He was not fighting anymore. He was done. It was down to Xavier Woods. They both returned to the ring. One tag. They tagged the other one in. They beat the hell out of him. Shatter machine. You figure, oh, that's the end of the match. No. They rip off the knee pad. They rip his attire, his ring attire, and Dawson applies a submission to the middle of the ring. Referee checks on Woods, but he's crawling for the bottom rope as fans try to rally him. Big E is still down. I figured Big E was going to make the save, and this was going to end up being a New Day victory anyway. But Dawson pulls the ropes, and Woods eventually holds on, but finally taps out as Dawson tightens the hold. Dash was on the outside. And the Revival are your SmackDown Tag Team Champions. After the match, Dash and Dawson take the titles and celebrate as the music hits. Woods rolls to the floor and clutches his knee in pain. We go to replays, and the Revival takes the mics and stage, says the WWE Universe are welcome because finally the titles are no longer coated in proverbial pancake batter. Fans can now consider themselves revived. They go on and say, finally the old school has quieted the new noise, and there will be no more stupid trombone. Later tonight, we will get an even bigger treat as Kofi Kingston loses the WWE title to Randy Orton, who will extinguish the flame. The Revival says it will finally be a new day. Yes, it will. That match went about 10 minutes. So, obviously, when we get to the draft, the Revival are coming to SmackDown, and that's where they're staying. Which, honestly, when they did the Superstar Shakeup earlier this year, that's where I figured they were going to go. When they went in the Superstar Shakeup, I was like, are you kidding me? These guys need a fresh lease on life. They've been just like toiling in the Raw sewer for a long time, and I think it was time to give them a refresh on SmackDown. Them winning the SmackDown Tag Team titles all but for sure assures them going to SmackDown. The biggest reason why I think New Day lost is that, and I think Kofi's losing the championship at Hell in a Cell because the draft is coming up after Hell in a Cell. It's the Friday after Hell in a Cell, and the Monday after the Friday after Hell in a Cell. I think Kofi's losing the title to whomever it is at Hell in a Cell. I think it was going to be Randy Orton, but we'll get to that in a minute. And the New Day are going to be moving to Monday Night Raw because the SmackDown needs to be presented as a more sports-like feel. Fox doesn't want the goofiness and the craziness of the New Day. They want it to feel more like a legit sport. So having the New Day go out there and stuffing pancakes or throwing pancakes around, Big E doing his swimming, and all the goofy sexual innuendos isn't going to fly on SmackDown anymore. So them moving from SmackDown to Raw makes all the sense in the world to me. So the Revival and the New Day are going to switch brands as the Revival and the New Day go from Raw. Like Revival go to SmackDown and the New Day go to Raw. Then we have ourselves the Twisted Bliss versus Fire and Desire tag team match. This match went This match went 9 minutes. This match also had an interruption by the 24/7 Championship. That right before this match, we had Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss backstage about their title defense. Carmella and 24/7 champion R-Truth, disguised as cameraman and sound guy, are back there talking to them, and Alexa Bliss announces that Truth is on set, and if anyone wants to come get him, he comes a group of superstars chasing Truth and Carmella away, and that ended that. So we're having this match. Fire and Desire have their remix of their music, which honestly, in my opinion, the Fire and Desire, the Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville music actually isn't bad mixed together. It doesn't sound too bad. It's way better than what Asuka and Kairi Sane sounds like. That is just absolutely atrocious. This one just fits right. I don't know what it is. When they come out, it's like it says Fire and Desire in like this woman's voice, and it spells it out on the Titantron, which, hey, you got these women, a Titantron, you got them a remix of the music. They didn't win the tag team titles tonight. I didn't think they were going to win the tag team titles tonight, but during the match, as I said, the 24/7 Championship, which had to be defended tonight because it is a WWE title, which tells you that 11 titles were defended tonight. During this match, R-Truth is in the middle of the ring. Another referee runs into the match. And Carmella. Alexa Bliss is in the ring with, I believe, Mandy Rose. And she runs over to try and roll up R-Truth for a 3 count, but she only gets a 2. And Carmella and Truth run away, get back to the match. This match ends where it looked like we were going to have a new set of champions as they get the high-low, which is their variation of high-low Fire and Desires, onto Alexa Bliss. It looks like it's all done and over with, but Nikki Cross makes the save. She tags in, hits the purge on Mandy Rose at the end of this match. 1, 2, 3. Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, Twisted Bliss are still your tag team champions. This match was okay. I will say this now that I might be the only one. I might be in the minority, but Alexa Bliss is in the perfect position in her career right now. She, as a tag team champion, a tag team competitor in the women's division, is leagues better than what she was doing on her own. She wrestles more, she actually takes bumps, she actually looks way better in these matches than she does on her own. So if they want to give these women, if they want Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss to be women's tag team champions all the way to WrestleMania, I'm fine with that. It gives Alexa Bliss a championship that she can have all on her own. If they want them to have the championships until they decide, hey, we're getting rid of them, fine. They're defending the titles. These titles have been seen more with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross than they ever did with the Idiotics. So I'm fine with these women having the championships and keeping them for as long as they want, as long as humanly possible. It keeps her out of the main championship title picture. It gives her something to do. She's important to WWE, and this is something that they're doing with her, and I am fine with it. It gives Nikki Cross a championship title reign as well. So I see absolutely no negatives to Alexa Bliss staying in this type of environment. Moving on to Shinsuke Nakamura versus The Miz. This match went 9 minutes and 35 seconds. This match, God, The Miz is so goddamn terrible as a babyface. He is still not recovered from Shane McMahon beating him not once, not twice, but 3 times. The first time, it's okay, it was a fluke. The second time was a fluke as well because he slipped out of his shirt because he's sweaty. And if I sweat as much, which I do sweat very much on my back and everything, but if I sweated as much as Shane McMahon does, and I was being held on by my shirt, I would have slipped out of it too. But I think the thing that killed The Miz overall was that third loss when Shane McMahon, Elias, and I believe Drew McIntyre beat the hell out of The Miz, and Shane McMahon just said, you know what, we'll have a match now, and he put him in a triangle, and Miz tapped out. I think that killed The Miz 110%. This match was not good. Nakamura, I love Nakamura. I think he's actually one of those people WWE misuses and mistreats. His booking has been atrocious since he's been up on the main roster. Honestly, Nakamura has not been the same since his match. He was since he lost to Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam in that bullshit fashion, and then he lost to him at Hell in a Cell in more bullshit fashion. That killed anything good about him. Not even winning the Royal Rumble and then giving us a piss poor match at WrestleMania could save Nakamura. And then he kept on losing to AJ Styles after a while. He won the United States Championship, did nothing with it. He won the Intercontinental title and hasn't really done anything with it as well. Putting Sami Zayn with him hasn't helped him either. Sami Zayn was, I think, he's playing Leo Rush 2.0, where he goes out there and he just talks up and hypes up his clients, if you want to say. I mean, we have Paul Heyman being the advocate to Brock Lesnar, but you don't see him on the mic all the time talking up Brock Lesnar because he doesn't have to. This match went 9 minutes, 35 seconds, and I think this match went way too long. I do not want to see Miz doing running knees into the corner. They look like shit. His yes kicks or the it kicks suck. This guy, as a babyface, is absolutely atrocious. I don't want to see him in anything as a babyface. He needs to be a heel. He needs to be a despicable heel like he was before he decided to be a babyface. Nakamura wins this one with the Kinshasa after Miz hit a Skull Crush finale. He goes to the pin. Sami Zayn gets on the apron, stops the referee, and the fans boo. Nakamura rolls to the apron and Miz stares at Sami. He chases after Sami like an idiot. Nakamura catches Miz with a big kick to the face at ringside, bring him back into the ring, hits the Kinshasa. 1, 2, 3. Dumb baby face syndrome. Pay attention to who you're facing, not who's on the outside, because just chasing him around was going to lead to that. The match was not good, and the match definitely was something that if it wasn't for Clash of Champions happened to have every championship on the line, then this match wouldn't have happened. This match didn't need to happen. I'm surprised Miz didn't win the championship for the fact that WWE pretty much is going to eventually have Miz beat Chris Jericho's record of 9 Intercontinental title runs. He needs 2 more. He's got 8. Win 1 more, which he could have did tonight, and then go to Hell in a Cell, lose it again, and then after that he could win it back and get his 9th reign. But they didn't do that. They do talk about the draft, which is going to be coming to you on the 14th and the 11th and the 14th of 2019 in October. It's going to give us something that hopefully will be solidified, and I'm going to have to solidify it. But the draft coming, I will have a video going up probably the week before. The week, like a couple days before, probably on Tuesday of because it's going to be right before Tuesday. There's going to be Hell in a Cell on the 6th. The 7th we're going to have Raw, and on the 8th they'll have a draft predictions and how many people are going to go to Raw and how many people are going to go to SmackDown. SmackDown gets first dibs this year. We'll have that then. Then you want to go from a match that really sucked to overbooked, a match that was way overbooked and convoluted. Sasha Banks versus the man Becky Lynch. This match was going great. This match felt good. It felt like Sasha Banks was going to be the next women's champion. And they had this match end in one of the most overbooked ways, and the only way they could do this. They booked themselves into a corner. Sasha Banks just returned heel, cannot come back. They lose. This match and the afterwards beatdown brawl and the afterwards brawl and lasted 20 minutes. We didn't get the official ruling on this match for 20 minutes. The referee in this match was Rudy Charles. If you don't know who Rudy Charles is, he used to be a referee in Impact Wrestling, and his biggest moment that I know in Impact Wrestling was when Jeff Jarrett had, I guess, Earl Hebner in his pocket during the King of the Mountain match. He won the match, won the NWA World Title back, and Rudy Charles grabbed the championship off of him and ran it up to Jim Cornette. I still have that in my head because I thought it was an interesting way that they were going. But anyway, he was in this match. He took a referee bump towards the end of this thing because Sasha Banks was getting absolutely frustrated. So she goes out. She first off grabs a chair and takes it so she can get Rudy Charles off of the distracted. She gets another one and hits Becky in the stomach, and gets a 2 count. She hits Becky with a knee strike. I'm like, well, that's going to be it, but no, 2 count. Referee stops Braun from swinging another chair. Referee argues with Sasha now. Becky comes from behind and swings the chair, but Sasha moves, and the referee gets dropped with the chair. He is dead for the rest of this. You do not see him again, because these two women start brawling all over the place. They go up the stairs. They go into the concourse. Becky Lynch gets mustard and throws it on and gets it on Sasha Banks' back. We end up getting back into the ring. Sasha Banks gets a disarmer put on her through a chair. Banks shocks Becky and tries to make it upstairs. This one just went all over the place. Becky turns it back around and brings Banks over the barrier. Rams Becky. Banks rams Becky back into the barrier. The referee is still down in the ring. Becky launches Banks launches Becky in the barrier. Graves says the match is officially over according to the word he just received. Yes, this match went all over the place, so this match was over way before this. So at the 20-minute mark, that is when that happened. But it continued on. Banks brings Becky back into the ring, with the steel chair. Banks swings the chair on Becky a couple times. She drops the chair. Becky grabs the chair and unloads with the chair. She hots to Banks, and she eventually puts a disarmer on her through the chair, making her tap. This is far from over. This is going to Hell in a Cell. This is going inside Hell in a Cell. Sasha Banks is going to be the only woman to be in the first and the second Hell in a Cell match for the women. And in my opinion, this one is going to hopefully be way better than the last one. They booked themselves in the corner. They had absolutely no choice but to give us that. To give us that outcome. Should it went that long? Should the fight have gone another 10 minutes up and around the concourse and everything and all the way back down? No. Especially when you have Eric Rowan and Roman Reigns in a match later on in the night, which is a no disqualification match that you're most likely going to have those two guys going around the entire arena beating the hell out of each other. Why would you have this happen in this match? You could have had the fight continue on. You could have had the fight all the way around the arena and everything. But the storyline going into Hell in a Cell for this match is going to be these women can't stand each other. They can't they cannot be contained in a normal one-on-one match. So these two are going to be inside Hell in a Cell. As I noted, Hell in a Cell is a couple days before we start the draft. It's the Sunday before we go to the draft. Becky Lynch is losing the title inside Hell in a Cell. Becky Lynch is probably going back to SmackDown. My dad's like, oh, you should send Becky to SmackDown. Keep Becky on Raw, send Sasha to SmackDown because it's going to lead to Sasha versus Bayley, which we've already seen WWE start on that. They've already fucked that up so many times. So that means we would have Charlotte and Becky on Raw again for another year. And I really don't want to see Becky versus Charlotte for at least another 2-3 years. We've seen it enough already. No. What we need to see is Becky go back to SmackDown. Yes, she's been on Raw for a little bit, but apparently she has been advertised for SmackDown. Of course, Charlotte's been in that advertisement too. Please don't give me that again. I don't want to see that again. However, Becky versus Bayley, I don't think was even much of a feud in NXT. I don't even think they really had a one-on-one match. I could be wrong. But Becky versus Bayley has not happened on the main roster because Becky, until now, has been on SmackDown and Bayley with the SmackDown with the Superstar Shakeup. So, Becky keeps the championship by disqualification. This feud is not done. They're going to Hell in a Cell. Plain and simple. While she's walking away, and the fans were not happy with the decision that this match ended. They wanted to see these women fight forever, pretty much, and beat the hell out of each other. She's walking away, and she just shrugs her shoulders like, whoa, oh well. Banks recovers in the ring, and she talks trash, and that was that. We want to go from one thing that lasted about 20 minutes to another. These are the two longest segments, two longest matches of the night, were Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, officially. and Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston. This match went 20 minutes and 50 seconds. This match was not good. This was not a great match. This was an okay match. Kofi Kingston is not a really good WWE champion. They protected him. He's won way more than he has lost. I think he's been pinned, twice? Once by Randy Orton and once by Dolph Ziggler in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Other than that, Kofi hasn't been pinned since WrestleMania. So, he's like the strongest, he's the strongest booked champion outside of Becky Lynch, for the men I should say, we've had in a long time. But Kofi Kingston has been it's not his fault. His entire title reign has been, all of his matches have sucked outside of, have not been great, have not been good. The feud with Kevin Owens was terrible. The feud with Dolph Ziggler was absolutely atrocious. This feud, which looks like it's over as well, which I'm absolutely surprised that they went with the way they did. I mean, you could have had this go so many different ways if they wanted to continue this on, but apparently they didn't. And Kofi won with a Trouble in Paradise out of nowhere after he ducked the clothesline. RKO earlier in the thing, but the way they had Kofi Kingston get out of that was he was right beside the ropes, which, honestly, in my opinion, anytime you see a superstar hit a finisher and just they don't pull their opponent away from the ropes so they can pin them, it really makes that person look stupid. So, Kofi wins this match. Kofi wins it clean. No interference by the Revival, no interference by the New Day, which I thought was going to lead to just a no contest in which this match would lead to a match at Hell in a Cell. But that's not happening. Here's the question I have for you. Who faces Kofi next? They really don't have anybody. People are expecting Brock Lesnar to be the next one to take on Kofi and take the title off of Kofi. I don't want to see that whatsoever. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar again. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar again. Who takes the title off of Kofi? Kevin Owens didn't do it. Dolph Ziggler wasn't going to do it. Randy Orton hasn't done it. Who's next? They don't have anybody on SmackDown to take the title off of him. It's just, it's like, we have 3 weeks, I believe, 3 weeks until we get to Clash. We have 3 weeks until we get to Hell in a Cell. What are they going to do? Because unless they do something that gives us Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton again, and Randy Orton takes the title off of him, they really have nobody. Ali's not there. Buddy Murphy's there. Roman Reigns and Eric Rowan are definitely not done yet. We'll get to that in a second. This just Randy Orton winning, it's like, well, if Randy Orton won it, who would go after him? This is the problem with WWE's building and booking people. They don't have anybody to go for this. Well, if Randy Orton won the championship and they didn't fire Kevin Owens, it could have been Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. The only thing that I think they're going to do is Shane McMahon's going to be the next one in line. The only heel besides Randy Orton that has been booked for anything on SmackDown Live is Shane McMahon. That is it. That is it. Brock Lesnar coming in to be WWE Champion would be absolutely pitiful. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar being in the championship title picture again, ever. So I don't know who they're going to have next. We'll have to wait till Tuesday to find out, because quite honestly, I'm at a loss for whoever the fuck they're going to have next, because Kofi Kingston, he is the most protected champion we've had. He's disgraced the WWE Championship by just acting like stuffing it with pancakes. That really looks trashy as hell. But I don't know. They don't really have anyone else built up. It's not like Daniel Bryan is. I don't know if Daniel Bryan is even a heel. That's the thing. We haven't seen Daniel Bryan since the Iron Claw 2 weeks ago. Will it be Daniel Bryan as a babyface? Will it see Daniel Bryan as a heel? I have no idea. You, in the comment section below, let me know who you think it should be. If Andrade was built up, that would be a hell of a feud. If Buddy Murphy was actually built up, that would be a hell of a feud. Ali and a babyface, Ali, in my opinion, Ali should be pegged by Kofi Kingston to get that championship opportunity, because if it wasn't for Ali getting injured, That's not all. That picture right there would not have Kofi Kingston on it. It would have Mustafa Ali or somebody else by now. If it wasn't for Ali getting injured, Kofi would have never been in the WWE Championship picture. He's only champion because somebody else got injured. And in my opinion, even if it's a one-time feud stopgap to get us to Survivor Series, and they want to have Kofi keep the title till the Royal Rumble or whatever, which I would be really surprised if they want to have that stopgap. Hell in a Cell is usually either a feud ender or a lame duck pay-per-view for other things. Give us a respectful championship match, a match out of respect. Kofi Kingston, Ali. There you go. It doesn't have to be babyface versus heel. It can be babyface versus babyface. But will they do it? Let me know in the comment section below who you think should take on Kofi next, because honestly, I don't see why Randy Orton should be going after the title. He lost clean. This wasn't one of those things where he won by DQ, Kofi won this match clean, and then they have somewhat of a rubber match. They don't have that. So I don't know who's going to win it. And quite honestly, we'll just have to wait and see. Moving on to the next to last match. And no, it's not the Universal Championship match, thank fucking God. Rowan versus Roman Reigns. And I'm just going to be totally honest. This match was fucking boring. A no disqualification match. I'm sitting here trying not to fight sleep. Rowan comes out. He has new gear. He does have his usual rocker shirt on, a metal band shirt on. He had Enslaved, I think is what it said. But he had new gear, a new jacket, new tight pants and everything. But this match was so fucking boring. It didn't help that the crowd literally didn't care. Rowan comes out to absolutely crickets. Nobody cared. And when the twist at the end happened, the crowd could care less. If this was a hot feud, if this was a hot angle that everyone was just sitting on the edge of their seat to see what happens next, the ending of this match would have been fucking like, oh my god, it's this person, what the fuck? But that didn't happen. This match was, they brawled up in the stands, they brawled around everywhere, they brawled in the thing. This match went, how long did this match go? This match went 17 minutes and 25 seconds. This match went 17 minutes and 25 seconds. And I'm going to say 14 of it was just, oh, is this match still going on? It felt like halfway through this match, which was the midway point of this match, Roman hits Rowan with the steel steps. And he hits him with, was it a Superman punch? And it felt like that was the beginning of the end of the match. But it wasn't. It wasn't. They kept going. They brawled around. They got over to the stage. Rowan had the jib cam, was going to hit Roman, but Roman stopped that. He hit Rowan. Rowan ended up back ended up back down by the ring. Roman is setting up to hit a spear on Rowan when out of nowhere, big boot to the face. The boy, Luke Harper, has returned. The Bludgeon Brothers back together. Holy shit. We didn't get on, and here's the thing. This is what sucks about this match, and this is what sucks about this entire feud. Harper, who we haven't seen in over a year. The last time we saw Harper was on TV, because he's been in a couple house shows and the Worlds Collide at Access, I believe it was, for WWE, WrestleMania. He comes out there and the crowd just is crickets. I don't hear a holy shit or a crazy reaction. There is no reaction whatsoever. I see he has new gear too, and he's doing the metal bands, or the rocking band, the metal bands stick too with his t-shirt. But Harper appears out of nowhere with a big boot. Face. Harper and Rowan have a little moment. Harper and Rowan back in the ring with Reigns. Harper, and they continue to destroy him and taking him out in ringside. Rowan delivers the Iron Claw 1, 2, 3. Eric Rowan is your winner. I'm just gonna have to say this. I am glad I was fucking wrong about this match. I am glad that we had all this build up. We're wondering, who drove the forklift? Who was the man to take out who drove the forklift? And honestly, they missed the boat. They missed the boat with the reaction on that Smackdown that they had Rowan come out and attack Roman Reigns and put Daniel Bryan through that table. Had they just had the Iron Claw taken to Roman and then have him point and say, "I did this to you, Roman, but I wasn't alone." And and we see, if without him pointing, they just go over to the ramps, and there's Harper just standing there. That would have been a holy shit moment, but they didn't do that. They drug this out way too long. By the time Harper was pulled into the mix, nobody cared. A lot of people cared on social media. A lot of people at home were like freaking out. Nobody cared in the Spectrum Center. Nobody at all seemed to care about this, and it sucked. Unless they muted the reactions, I would really like to know what people were reacting to live. But from what I heard on the thing, the crowd was dead. The crowd gave no fucks. The thing about it is, the crowd was asleep halfway through this match, and that's probably why nobody reacted, because half the people were asleep. Nobody cared about Harper making his long-awaited return. His first WWE main roster show and appearance since the Tuesday after SummerSlam of 2018, when they gave up the tag team titles because Rowan was injured. Rowan got injured when they were when they were known as the Bludgeon Brothers, which I hope the fuck they go back to that name. They don't have to bring the Hammers back if they don't want to, but the Bludgeon Brothers made their return and reunited. First off, that is fucking awesome. It was an awesome moment. Second, it gives you another tag team for the tag team division. And hopefully, the Viking Raiders get moved to SmackDown because they need it, and we get a Bludgeon Brothers Viking Raiders match. That would be fucking awesome. 4 big hoss men just going out there and destroying each other for our entertainment. I think I would fucking love that, and I think you would love that too. So this match, nobody cared about, and it was obvious. The crowd was dead. I'm sitting here yawning, trying to fight sleep, just trying to watch this match, trying to get through it because this match is boring. Roman Reigns is one of the most boring wrestlers I have ever seen. Rowan, nobody buys as a single big guy, and hopefully with the fact that they brought Harper back, Harper and Rowan, the Bludgeon Brothers, which, if they're going to go by the Bludgeon Brothers, thank God we have another tag team, but where does this go? Where does this leave Daniel Bryan? That's the question I want to know. Where does this leave Daniel Bryan? I don't have a clue. I don't. Now, with this being Roman getting beat, maybe we see Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns teaming up to take on the Bludgeon Brothers at Hell in a Cell, and the Bludgeon Brothers get to actually beat Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. 2 of the biggest names in the WWE right now, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, going up against the Bludgeon Brothers. That is a match pay-per-view worthy, in my opinion. Luke Harper. It's Luke Harper now, I guess. They did say Luke Harper, so they both got their first names back. But Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, by themselves, Luke Harper has the makings of being somebody that people would invest themselves into if the WWE gave him a chance. Rowan, not so much. These guys back together is best for both of them and best for business. And my question is, does this mean that Brody Lee is never going to show up again and is not going to be elite next year? Or is this just a thing to use him while they have him? That is something we'll find out next April. But in the moment, this was freaking awesome, the end of this match. The match itself is nothing worth celebrating, nothing worth talking about. But the Bludgeon Brothers reuniting to take out Roman Reigns was a thing of beauty. Seth Rollins is backstage as we get ourselves ready for the main event. I hit the wrong one. No, I hit the wrong one. Wait a minute. Oh, it's down here. How did that happen? But we're ready for the main event as the former tag team champions, Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman take on each other in a Universal Championship match. He's with Kelly Caruso, and he's not worried about Braun Strowman and says the title lost earlier was both of their faults. Rollins goes on and says he's confident about retaining his title in the main event. We go to that main event, and this was a lot of fun. Braun Strowman starts off the match with a shoulder tackle. These guys, like, I'm telling you right now, I've talked about it. Other people have talked about things that they don't want to ever get paid to do. Like taking a backbreaker from Roderick Strong, taking chops from Roderick Strong, just ask Daniel Bryan. Getting in the ring pretty much with anything that has to do with Pete Dunne, taking any type of power move from Keith Lee, or chops from Braun Strowman. I would never, in a million years, for any money value, take a Superfly Splash from Braun Strowman. Seth Rollins earned his paycheck on this one fucking move. These guys this match lasted about 11 minutes, exactly 11 minutes, about 11 minutes. This match just was Braun Strowman using his power, Seth Rollins messing with the knee, trying to prevent Braun Strowman from having the power with his knee. Towards the end of the match, Braun Strowman is on the top rope as Seth Rollins tries to pull him in for a superplex. You know, the superplex into the Falcon Arrow. I was like, I can see the superplex because that's just something that happens. But Strowman sat down and was like, this isn't happening. Okay, he picks up Seth Rollins and drops him, and Seth Rollins falls on the mat. Braun Strowman decides to stand up, and he almost slipped and fell to his death, to his doom. But he was able to leap off the top rope and hit Seth Rollins with a fucking splash. If Seth Rollins did not need a scraper to get off of the mat after this, I don't know what the hell. That looked brutal. And Seth Rollins kicked out at 2. However, the splash happened. Strowman came down and he started holding the knee that Seth Rollins worked on earlier in the match. So, selling that injury, he took the risk, and it paid off for damage, but it didn't pay off for the win. Strowman stumbles up and scoops at Rollins, but Rollins turns it into a sleeper hold. Strowman fades as Rollins brings him down in his knees. Strowman overpowers and sends Rollins to the mat. Rollins comes right back with a stomp, but Strowman kicks out at 1. Rollins can't believe it. Strowman kicked out that easy. Rollins comes back with a second stomp, but Strowman kicks out at 2. Rollins is surprised and goes for a third stomp, nails it, but the fans are booing. They're like, oh shit, here we go, he won. And Strowman, no. Strowman kicks out at 2 again. Fans pop for this. That's a big pop. That's the pop that you want to see at this time. Strowman looks like he's going to lose this match, and boom, he kicks out. Strowman looking like a fucking beast. Seth Rollins cannot believe it. He goes up, Strowman goes up for a power slam, but Strowman's knee goes out during the power slam. Rollins takes advantage and hits a pedigree. 4 stomp. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins retains the championship. What a fucking match. This was Braun Strowman's best match ever. Ever. I know he had that one match with the Big Show that was actually, he showed off his athleticism, which I don't even want to go there. But this was Braun Strowman's best match. Then, oh god, they did it to me again. Every single time. I always fall for it, but after the match, Rollins stands tall with the title as the music hits. We have our replays. He holds the title up on the stage. And then the lower third comes up. The pay-per-view's over with. But it's not. The lights go down. You hear the doo-doo, doo-doo. And then you hear that. Then the Fiend has Seth Rollins in Sister Abigail and hits Sister Abigail. Let's go out again. We see him go back up a little bit. You have the sound of, I wish I had that sound bite, but I don't. You see the flickering again, and the Fiend is standing there with Rollins, with his hand and Rollins' hair as he's holding Rollins up. And he puts the mandible claw on Seth Rollins. Riot is screaming and laughing and just like getting all sadistic like the original Mankind was back when he did it to the Undertaker and his victims back in 1995. The lights go off. The crowd, all you hear is ha 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 ha. The laugh of Bray Wyatt. Clash of Champions go off the air with the lights out, and Wyatt's laugh blaring across the arena. That was fucking an awesome way to end this show. The show was not a great match. The show was not a terrible match. This show was, like I said, about a C plus or a 3.5 to 4 overall, if you want to go with that. I would say that the women's champion, Bayley versus Charlotte Flair, could have won another 4 or 5 minutes, and then you have that finish. You didn't have to have Bayley, who got dominated for the beginning of the match, from beginning to end until the final second. But I guess it's going to have Bayley be this desperate heel. I do see that when, like, I did see and notice when Bayley was coming out, Byron Saxton was no longer like the Bayley buddies and all happy and everything. He actually tried to he was like burying her, not in a burial type way, but he was burying and talking about how she's a fraud. She's not who she says she is anymore, even though Corey Graves is like, she has told us from time and time again that she has been loyal to Sasha Banks, and she is showing that she is loyal to Sasha Banks. But Bayley winning in 3:50 in about a little under 4 minutes. Could have went a little bit longer. I still say it could have went to about the 5-10 minute mark, 8-9-10 minute mark, and then you do that finish. But it's fine. It's not going to be the last time, because it's if Charlotte Flair is moving to Raw, which I fully expect her to do. I hope Becky Lynch is coming to SmackDown. I'm fine with, like, Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Flair. We haven't seen in about 4 years. About 2.5 to 3 years. So I think there's been enough space between them so we can have that feud again if you want to. But honestly, I hope Sasha Banks, if she wins at Hell in a Cell, she's going to win and keep the title until at least TLC. The woman's come back. She's a big time heel. She needs to be the win, and when she wins the championship, she needs to hold it for more than just a month. Let's see. When we're going into Hell in a Cell, which is going to be the last pay-per-view before we have this draft, and there's going to be no more wildcard rule. AJ Styles versus Cedric Alexander, I fully expect to happen again somehow. Bayley versus Charlotte, definitely going to happen either at Hell in a Cell or before that. Let me see here. Nakamura, I don't care what they do with him. He can just disappear again for a while because they've done nothing with him. Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, I fully expect to be inside Hell in a Cell, just the way they did that tonight. Definitely should be a hell of a match. Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton seems to be done and over with. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Who is he going to face? Since it's going to be a lame duck pay-per-view, in my opinion, it should be Kofi Kingston versus Ali. Give Ali that chance that was taken away because of injury. Rowan and Harper, what are we going to do with Eric Rowan and Luke Harper? I believe we'll see that Eric Rowan and Luke Harper could possibly be facing Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns at Hell in a Cell. And possibly, maybe Daniel Bryan turns out to be the evil mastermind behind it all. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like these guys set this up themselves. They're taking orders from somebody. But who is it? Maybe it's an NXT star who hasn't been brought up to from NXT yet. Maybe it's somebody who's in the independent scene, who is somebody who used to be in WWE they want to bring back. Maybe it's a legend. I have no idea. Braun Strowman, where do you go from here with Braun Strowman? He lost clean. He lost in one of the best matches he's done, in the best match he's ever had, but he lost clean. Obviously, Seth Rollins is moving on to the Fiend, but where do you go from here with Braun Strowman? In my opinion, he's going to SmackDown. If anybody is winning, if he's going to win any major championship, it's the WWE Championship. He could be the one to take it off Kofi. He could be the one that takes it off Kofi at TLC, because if they're doing SmackDown versus Raw matches, The Fiend or Seth Rollins versus Kofi Kingston would be a better match, in my opinion, than anything else that they could come up with right now. So I fully expect Braun, when they get to the draft, I could see Braun Strowman coming to SmackDown. He's done everything he can on Raw. They're not going to give him the Universal Championship. It's time for him to move on. We'll talk about that when we get closer to the draft. But that is your Clash of Champions review. It was about a C+, maybe. It was a C+, 3.5 to 4, maybe. But it wasn't a good show. It wasn't a great show. It wasn't a bad show. It was an okay to good show. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the show. And find me on Twitter and twitch.tv/thefront08. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the fallout of Clash of Champions. Until then, my name is The Front, and I'll see you guys later.